Welcome back to Yoga for Irish Dance. My name is Amelia, and today we're going to be looking at some poses that can help us with our turnout. We're going to begin today by finding that breath focus before we get into our asana. So whether or not you want to be seated tall on those sits bones or maybe lying on the back, you could find legs out long, or if you have any low back issues, I always recommend bringing the feet to the outer edges of the mat and letting the knees find each other's center. If you're laying down, I like to pick up one shoulder gently and tuck it underneath the back. If you're seated tall, feel the shoulder blades draw down the back away from the ears. As you find your breath focus, you might choose to, if you're really someone that likes to feel what you're visualizing, you might bring a hand to the low belly and a hand to the heart so you can really feel the breath. Remind yourself that you've carved out this time today for your yoga practice. So whether you've got a lot of stuff going on after this, or you've had a lot of stuff going on before this, depending on when you're watching, remind yourself that you've decided to take this time for you and for your practice. So just really enjoy this time here on the mat. Find the deep inhale. Release everything on that exhale. Maybe do a quick full body scan from the top of the head all the way down to those toes. Are you holding any tension anywhere? Is it hiding maybe in the arms, in the belly, in the glutes or the legs, the calves? And just on your next exhale, find a deeper release into the floor, into the earth. If the mind wanders, just gently acknowledge whatever it has wandered to, and then bring that focus back to that inhale and that exhale. Wherever you're at, we're going to gently wiggle the fingers, toes, maybe find some movement in the wrists or the ankles, just signaling to the body that we're going to move in a bigger way. If you found the eyes closed, perfectly fine. Now's a great time to gently reopen them when you're ready. If you're already seated tall, you can stay there. If you're laying down, maybe hug the knees to chest, give a little rock side to side. We're going to come seated tall. So some people like to find one side of the body and then gently press tall. I like to find a little gentle rock back and forth until I come tall. Wherever you're at, that's perfect. Tall in this seated position. We're going to uncross the legs and we're going to find bound angles. So soles of the feet come together. Sitting nice and tall, we're still centered on those sits bones, those two bones right there at your butt, kind of. And we're seated tall on them, tall through the spine, shoulder blades down and back. Knees are just going to gently fall open using gravity here. If you want any support, you could find a block under each leg. If you have blocks, maybe a pillow, a rolled up sweater, whatever you want, whatever you've got. Sitting tall, we're going to inhale, long, exhale, hinge forward with a flat back. I like like to hold at my ankles. Some people like to hold at their feet. If you're holding at your feet, make sure you're not, pulling or tugging too much on that ankle joint. Still at that flat back. Navel pull the spine. Inhale again. Exhale. Now you can round forward. And I know some of you out there might have your legs fully on the mat. That's wonderful. Some of you might be a little bit higher. Wherever you're at, that's perfect. Make sure that as we go through our practice today, you remind yourself that turnout is something that comes really naturally for some people, and for others, it takes a little bit more effort. It takes a little bit more focus, and that is perfectly fine. So wherever you're at today, honor that space. Inhale, come to a flat back. Exhale, tall. We're going to do that again. I'm going to show you a side view. Inhale, tall. Exhale, hinge forward, flat back. Just letting those knees fall open. Inhale, exhale, round that spine. And some of you, again, might be all the way down, might be a little bit further up. Honor where you're at. And that will be true for all the poses we get into today. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, come tall. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, tall. Exhale, hinge from the hip joint forward, flat back. Inhale, exhale, round. Inhale, tall. Or flat back. Exhale, come tall. Nice. We're going to gently find our way to one hip. Swing the feet around and come to a tabletop position to get into your cat-cow. For cat-cow, you want the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, nice and spread out here. Inhale, drop the belly, slide, look up. Exhale, round it forward, C curve of the spine, looking down. Inhale, fill up with air. Exhale, engage that navel, pulling the spine. We're going to move a couple more times here through your cat-cow, warming up that spine. Getting the body to move a little bit bigger. Just moving with your own breath here, wherever your inhale and your exhale are at. Go ahead and do one more of each wherever you're at. As soon as you finish, just meet in that nice tabletop position. Strong, long line from the top of the head to the tip of the tailbone. We're going to move into our first down dog. So I like to set my hands a little bit more forward than my shoulders. Take a peek back at my feet. Make sure everything is hips width apart, or 1.5 to 2 fists. Then I tuck my toes and I send my hips up. When you get here, you might choose to pedal the feet out a little bit. You might find a little sway of the hips or the shoulders, just anything you need to adjust. Pressing not only through the pinky, but through that index finger and the thumb, looking at those feet. Navel pulls to spine, shoulders down and back. Inhale, lift the right leg long, three-legged dog. Now when you're here, hips are square, toes pointing down at the earth. We're going to open the hips, bend the knee, and find what it feels like to open those hips. Inhale, exhale, reset the hips square to the earth, lengthen the leg, take a peek between your hands, shifting forward, pull the knee to chest. Exhale, press back, three-legged dog. On your next one, we're going to step it through. So C between those hands, step the foot up, might need a little bit more help. You can leave the back knee up, or you can lower it down. If you're like me, you want a little bit of extra knee support. I have a little pad I like to slip under. We find a low lunge. Inhale. There goes my watch. Inhale, come tall. Shoulder blades draw down and back. We feel that opening through that hip here. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Hands raining down to either side of the foot. Tuck the back toes. Lift that knee if it's not lifted already. Step back to your down dog. We're going to do all those same things second side. Inhale, left leg long, three-legged dog. Again, starting with the hips square. Foot is flexed, toes pointed down at the earth. Inhale. Exhale, bend that knee. Find that opening through that hip. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale, reset the hips square to the earth. Leg is long. Inhale. Exhale, take a peek at those hands. Shift forward, knee to chest. We're getting ready to step through, but we don't quite yet. Shifting back, three-legged dog. This time, take a peek. Using those core muscles, pull through. Step it up. Again, if you need to use the hands to readjust, that is perfectly fine. I like to set up that back knee with a little bit of extra padding, releasing it to the ground. Inhale, low lunge. Checking with those shoulders, are they up or are they melting down the spine? Chest is lifted. Front knee is in line with that ankle. Take a breath. Feel the opening through the hip here. Inhale. Exhale. Release the hands, finding either side of that foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the knees, plant the hand, step it back down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts long, three-legged dog. Take a peek at the hands. This time we're going to step the right foot to the outer edge of our right hand, to that right edge of the mat. So shifting forward, use the core, find that outer edge right by your right hand. We're going to move to lizard pose. So lizard is a great hip opener. It's a little bit deeper than that low lunge we were just in. Everyone's going to be at a different height here. So right here might be perfect for you. You might have a block, depending on where you're at, where you want to be. You might also find your way a little bit lower to those forearms. Honor where your body's at and honor where it's at side to side. So on this side, it might look different than the other side. We're going to hang here for just a couple of breaths. This front foot is slightly turned out. Breathe deeply into those hip joints. On each exhale, find yourself maybe releasing a little bit deeper into the pose. But not forcing anything. Wherever you're at, we're going to gently come tall, planting those hands. Step that foot in a little bit, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, down dog, pedal it out. Readjusting, getting set for our second side lizard pose. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Take a peek at the hands, getting set up to bring that foot to the outer edge here by that left hand. Inhale. Exhale, pull chin to chest, knee to chest. Drop that back knee. Foot slightly turned out, and we're ready to set up second side. Again, using maybe you've got blankets, pillows, whatever you need to help support your pose here. And second side might look different than your first side. We're going to hang here for a couple of breaths, breathing deeply into that hip. So decide where you want to be at. Try to find some stillness. And again, it's okay if this second side looks or feels different than the first side. That's actually normal. We're not very symmetrical as humans. Just like with that first side, maybe with each exhale, you find you're able to release a little bit deeper into the pose. Still focusing on that breath. Where's that breath, you know? Where's that inhale and that exhale? Wherever you're at, gently, slowly pressing tall, palms find the floor, foot might step in a little bit, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step it back, down dog, pedal out those feet. From here, we're going to find a wide child's pose. So bringing the knees to the outer edges of the mat, big toes find each other's center. Just sink those hips back. Arms can be out long. I have to take my glasses off for this because they get in the way. If you have any sinus issues or maybe a headache today or any congestion, sometimes finding the hands or a block or something under the forehead to elevate it a little bit can feel more comfortable here. So just decide where you want to be at. Release the belly. Where's the breath? Taking more time here if you need it, or if you're ready, coming back up through that tabletop position to press into our down dog again, and then gently step the feet up to the top of the mat. Knees can be nice and bent. We find a forward fold. Just releasing wherever the knees are, wherever the hands rest naturally. Opposite hands might find opposite elbows. Find a little sway. Nod yes, nod no. Release that head and neck. Inhale, half lift. Nice long spine. Exhale, release. Inhale, roll up very slowly. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Head and neck, last things to come up here. For a nice tall Tadasana or mountain pose. Shoulders melting down the back, palms facing the front. Tall through the top of the head. Engage through the quads, through the legs. Feet are parallel, hips width apart. Nice and even through all four corners of the feet. It's a very grounding pose. Nice. From here, we're going to gently step the feet out a little bit wider. Find your natural turnout here. So what I mean by that is we're not forcing anything, and we're also not parallel. The turnout has to come from the hip joint. We can't turn out from the knee or from the ankle, for many reasons, it doesn't really work and it causes a lot of injuries. So make sure as you find that turnout position, again, we're not forcing anything. We're not trying to impress anyone. We're not competing with ourselves or others here. Just where it feels natural today. Nice and tall, we're gonna come to goddess pose. So we're gonna find a squat position. Might not be super deep, wherever you want it to be. The most important thing here is we're working on, yes, the flexibility in a lot of these poses, but this one, we're working on that strength. Knee should stay in line with the ankle. So if you find you're rocking in or out, you want to adjust your turnout accordingly. So if the knees are in, maybe the toes have to come in a little bit more. From there, we're tall. Hands might find heart center, or you might inhale long, exhale, cactus the arms. Get a little back work here as well. Good for posture in Irish stance. We always want to have those shoulders down and back, right? Or a little, I guess these would be like team's arms, right? So we're here. Holding, breathing. Heart is lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Come up. Hands come down. We're going to do goddess pose. Goddess pose. Oh, 2 more times. Shoulders down and back. Your choice on where those hands go, right? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Find that position. Readjusting if needed. Feeling that strength through the back of the legs here. Inhale, arms up if you want. Exhale, cactus the arms, engaging those back and shoulder muscles. Pulling that navel to spine still. We're not arching the back here. It's a nice neutral spine, actually. I heard a metaphor, I think it's a metaphor. I hope it's what a metaphor is. Someone will comment if it's not what a metaphor is, that your pelvis is like a bowl. You don't want to spill the bowl forward, and you don't want to spill the bowl back. You want everything to stay in your bowl, whatever's in your bowl, cereal, ramen, whatever it is. Inhale, exhale, come up. One more time. I know you're feeling it. Inhale, exhale, find that pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms, feeling that opening through the chest. Good. Hang with me. Inhale, exhale, come up. Find some relief. Bring the toes parallel, facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to find wide angle fold. Inhale, hands heart center. Exhale, hinge forward with a flat back. You might leave the hands here. They might find the floor. You can find blocks. Again, whatever you need here. Maybe the legs are bent. Just find that comfortable folded position. Just like with our other forward fold, hands might find opposite elbows. You might find a little gentle sway. Release the head and neck. Make sure it's nice and relaxed. Stepping the hands out so that they're under the shoulders. Find a flat back. Inhale, exhale. Tiptoeing those feet in a little bit. Still finding a turned out position. We're going to sink back into the hips and find Shavasana. This is a lovely hip opener here. You might have to adjust a little bit on your width. Elbows find knees, pressing out a little bit. And we're nice and long through the spine. Hands at heart center. Long through the spine. We're not rounding forward. Finding that opening through the hips. Nice. Releasing the hands to the floor. Gently bringing the legs underneath you to come out of it, or coming out of it in a totally different way, but something that's comfortable for you. The last pose that we're really going to be working before we start winding down is our frog pose. So if this pose doesn't feel comfortable, it's still very intense, it is an intense pose, feel free to move into any of the other poses we've done today. Malasana would be a great one, a wide ankle fold, maybe lizard pose again. But if you want froggy, know, once again, you can always use maybe a bolster or a blanket under the hips, something to help just modify the pose a little bit. So finding the wide side of your mat so that you just have a little bit of extra protection for those legs. We're going to step the knees out as wide as they want to go and then not press it any further. Feet can come ankles in line with the knees. I've also seen a version where people bring the toes in or the toes a little bit wider. So as we move into this pose, choose what feels best for you. From here, trying to keep the hips in line with the knees, which is a little bit tricky, you can come down. Now you might stay up here. You might be someone that can go all the way reaching long. Your hips might rest on the earth, or like mine, they might be elevated a little bit. This is a very intense pose, like I said. Breathe into it. Frog pose is definitely one of those ones that might feel uncomfortable the first couple times you do it, or uncomfortable forever. Gently step those hands in, walk them in. Gently pick up the knees, little by little, step the knees back under the hips. Come into the long edge of the mat again, just finding a nice child's pose. Knees can stay under the belly if you want this time, or finding the outer edges of the mat. Sink the hips back and release. When you're ready, coming tall, bringing the knees under, gently falling to one hip. We're going to make our way down onto our backs, lying back. Knees can pull into chest. A little release here, maybe rock side to side. Maybe draw some small circles with the knees. From there, we're going to find the floor with the feet. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees back and forth, releasing those hip joints. You might choose maybe to hold one direction for a little bit, hold the other one for a little bit, whatever feels good here. Just releasing those hip joints that have just worked so hard. And again, reminding ourselves that there's no judgment. There's no judgment of where we're at, and the next time you come back to do this practice might feel totally different than how it felt today. So just honoring where your body's at in this moment. Find some stillness of the legs. One more time, knees pull in. You might peel that chin to chest, really chin to chest for this time, right? Finding that ball position, little rock side to side, or head and neck might stay on the ground. Just once again, massaging those hips, allowing the legs to release, holding them with the hands, massaging that lower back as well. We're going to go ahead and move into our Shavasana. If you've got time to do this, awesome. If you don't today, that's okay as well. It's our little moment to just refocus and reground after all of the great work we've just done. So, as we started class, there's some options. You can, of course, allow the legs to go out long, just allowing the feet to fall wherever they are. I really like, especially after doing as many hip openers as we just did, to allow the feet to find those outer edges of the mat and the knees to fall in together, really releasing those hip joints. You also might choose a different position, maybe seated, whatever you want today. Gently lift and tuck those shoulder blades underneath. Now for Shavasana, it is a moment to find some stillness, some quiet. You might choose to just soften the gaze or close the eyes, whatever you're comfortable with. Refocus on that breath. Where's the breath? Where's the inhale? And where's the exhale? If you have any passing thoughts, worries, stressors, to-dos, judgments perhaps of your practice, gently acknowledge those. Release them and find that gentle inhale, exhale again. And just keep bringing the focus back to the breath. No matter how many times the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Maybe do another full body scan. Check in. Is the jaw released and relaxed? The shoulders, the biceps, the hands, the hips, the quads, glutes, calves, feet, the toes. Just check in. Take a deep inhale. And on your next exhale, if you found anywhere that's hiding any tension, melt it away. Releasing into the earth, feeling supported by the ground below us. Gently start to find some movement if you're ready. If you want to keep hanging out in Shavasana for a while longer, please be my guest. Wiggling those fingers, those toes, maybe stepping the feet in. You might find that windshield wiper movement again, or pulling the knees to chest. When you're ready, we're going to find our way to that tall seated position. So whether you rock back and forth to come there, or find one side of the body, so then gently press tall. Whatever you need is perfect. Finding those sits bones right underneath us, nice and tall through the top of the head. Drop those shoulders down and back. We're going to take a final breath here all together. Nice big inhale. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I hope I see you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day, your evening, your morning, whatever you got going, and I will see everyone next time. Thank you again. Bye.